If you enjoyed that clip and you want to watch the entire show, all you got to do is tap that link in the bottom and it'll take you to the full show where you can ingest, get with every word that I had to say about all these games. So, Oz.com, tap that link, watch that full version, throw a like, throw a sub. See ya. And of course, thank you very much for watching. All right, we're going to move on to a bigger conference. We're going to move on to two bigger games. We're going to go to the smaller game before we go to the bigger of the two games, but we're going to the West Coast Conference. We're going to BYU. We're going to Pacific. And you guys know about me. I am a big lover of Pacific. I love what Damon Sotomayor has done with this program. I like the depth and I like the competition internally that's been going on in this roster. We've really seen guys separate themselves from others. And with BYU going to Pacific, this is a team that had to go to overtime and beat this Pacific team last time out. So there's definitely going to be some animosity, I think, going on. And with BYU, they're led by a combination in their backcourt that is very prolific, very effective. And if you're on the other side of them, definitely causes you to clench your ass. Well, Alex Barcelo, he's come down from a 60+% three-point shooting percentage down to 47% and 82% from the line while averaging 15 points. Brandon Everett, the Utah Valley transfer that followed Coach Pope, he's averaging 11 and 75% from the line while running the offense and handling the ball a lot of the time. Matt Arms, obviously, I'm not a big fan of him, the Purdue transfer. I call him the Purdue quitter. Decided that I didn't want to play with Trevion Williams. I'm going to freaking bounce. So he's averaging 11, 81% from the free throw line and 1.7 blocks per game. But I think that with BYU, yes, they got a lot of size. They got a lot of three-point shooting. They got guys that can come off the bench like Cannell. He's a good three-point shooter also. Gideon George, Caleb Lohner. A lot of guys coming up that are going to be good for this BYU program next year and the year after. And that's where Pacific's going to have to be able to match their depth. With Pacific, they're 6-6 on the year. They haven't played the minimum yet for games to get into the tournament. They're 5-1 at home. That's where they've been putting in that work. So definitely a home dog. I'll be getting on in this spot for today's game. I think that when you look at BYU, this is a team that definitely has been able to go a little more up-tempo in some of their games. But against the first time against Pacific, if this game doesn't go to overtime, this game doesn't get past 130. So I definitely think that a little bit of familiarity and the way that the game ended has Pacific probably playing a little faster and probably trying to get a little more three-point shooting going. I think that with Pacific, you know what they're going to be led by. They're going to be led by Jeremiah Bailey. Jeremiah Bailey's averaging 12 points, 77% from the line and 40% from the three-point line. Denise Jenkins, 13 points per game. But other than that, he's not really doing anything efficiently. Brock Finstein, he's probably the X factor for this team. 10 points, 73% from the free throw line, 34% from the three-point line. This guy does everything you need. Gets the loose balls, gets into tight corners, makes the right pass, takes the right shot. Big fan of what he does. Think that he's going to be critical if Pacific wants to stay in this game. If not, cover the number. If not, beat them and get some revenge at home. And listen, you need Jordan Bell to stay on the floor. The Loyola Marymount transfer has done a fantastic job. He's been a very good, capable three-point shooter at 37%. He's averaging 9 points and 6.5 rebounds. I think that with Pacific, they played hard for 40. That's all you could ask. They couldn't keep it going in overtime. And that's really because fouls hurt. You had Jenkins and Bailey that fouled out. You had to throw and run with Jabril Noel Price, and I think it was Gervais Green. I can't remember if it was. But it just wasn't the best lineup for you, and it wasn't the lineup that got you to overtime. I think that you got to hit over 45%. You got to make this a high-scoring game to win this game. I think that if you play a grinded-out style like you did last time, you're just going to wear yourself down, and that aggressive on-ball defense is going to cause you to have to go deeper into your bench. I think that if Pacific can make 7 to 10 threes and make BYU uncomfortable in the half court, harassing Averett, bringing doubles, trying to freaking predict where Barcelo's going to try and cut those lanes off. This is a team that loves to back cut. This is a team that loves to get on offensive glass. You're going to have to throw some size at them. And if James Hampshire is going to get the call, tell him to put his elastic band in his hair and get his ass on the floor, and let's see the 7-footer give some production. This is the Pacific team that has to grind and play better with the lead if they get it than they did against Loyola Marymount. I think that this is still a Pacific team that has value. I think that at 6.5 points, where this line opened actually at 5.5, up to 6.5 or 6, total at 135, up to 135, all the way to 136.5. It's a spot where I'm going to be taking Pacific. I'm going to be taking the over. I think that we're going to see points. I think we're going to see points early, and I don't think we're going to have our ass clenched as far as the total. When it comes to the side, that will be a different story. So let's do a little bit of line shopping, and then let's move on to the next game. So I see a 6 and a 136, which is not sexy. I see a 6.5 and a 135. That is a little sexier. All this sexy talk is making me want to have a cupcake, and I don't have any cupcakes. So I see a 6.5 and a 135.5 at BetMGM. And then I see a 6 and a 136.5. So best lines are going to be at Bet365. I'm going to take Pacific plus 6.5 minus 110 and over 135 minus 110. Both available at Bet365, and I will be able to bet these because Bet365 also is an offshore book that allows me to wager with them. So I look forward to that aspect.